Welcome to the Writer's Life, the place where you get the sights, sounds, smells, taste of my particular writer's life, and where you get the truth, and where you get spanked by a ruler. Where you get the truth about the writer's life, my writer's life anyway. And you're going to get somebody else's truth today. Subscribe if you haven't already. Punch the like button like you're having a fight with your significant other. And tap the bell for notifications because it's very sensitive. Don't forget to go to that thing, www.vinzandri.com, vinzandri.com, for all your thriller needs. And select books you can buy direct. You save, I make more money. Works out. Works out the way it should. All right, with all that said, how you doing, Ben Sobieck?
Oh, I'm fine.
I haven't seen you since. You're welcome. I'm so happy you're here. You are just like you're like a magician. You are a pro at like so many things. But I think the last time I saw you, we were cruising around New York City. It was pre-COVID. We were eating lobster, and like the world hadn't turned over on its axis. Right was right, wrong was wrong. Men couldn't have babies. Cats weren't mating with dogs. The president was still alive. Like all those things. But you seem, despite like all the terribleness, all the bad things that came from the COVID situation, the pandemic, you seem to have thrived. Let me see. You're a bestseller. You've made Wattpad your bitch. You've even written
Wattpad. It might be the other way around, man.
All right. Well, you can explain that later. You are an inventor. You are an entrepreneur. And you have long hair like you're in a metal band.
Yes. Yeah.
What metal band are you in?
Well, I think I would be in a doom metal band if I was in a metal band. Something like Electric Wizard or Windhand or something really like, and we probably have a bunch of members from Scandinavia or something like that.
Right.
Just really doomy, slow riffs. That riff takes like a full 30 seconds to get through. That's the kind of band I would be in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there's Sobieck. Is that like from the Netherlands, or what is Sobieck?
Well, it started as Sobieski, which is Polish. And if you go to Poland, and it's the only trip to Europe I ever took was to Poland with my college class, you will find that Sobieski is all over on vodka and cigarettes, which I couldn't think of a better place to put that.
Absolutely.
The cigarettes are very harsh. Not that I am a smoker, but if you are there and your surname is on there, you should probably try it. The vodka's not great, but it's there, and I tried it, and I felt like that was enough for me.
Right.
So, Sobieski, Polish. I don't know who made the decision to make it Sobieck, but here I am now, Ben Sobieck.
Well, back when you had to, enter the country legally 100 years ago or whatever, like when my parents came over, my grandparents rather, they used to fuck around with your name. And
yeah, that's true.
I suspect Zandri might have actually been with an S.
Yeah. And
I actually found in Florence, I went into some tombs, and which I like to do, as you know, and I actually found a 14th century tomb for Sandri. And I'm like, no wonder I like this place. No wonder I come here often. I have dead relatives here.
Maybe that's it. That would make sense.
It's hard to believe Zandri being part of the Renaissance, however, unless they were like peasants. like morons in the street.
Around during the Renaissance.
Yeah. What a time to live. Like, can you imagine, like, you just walk through that town, and some of the buildings are medieval. The ones that are made of stone and that are a little bit taller and thinner are medieval. Like Dante's house is a medieval house. And they used to, like, they'd take their morning constitutional and throw it out in the road, because that's just what you did. And they had no conception of cholera or no conception of, the plague, which eventually almost decimated the population. If you made it to like 20, like, you were like, whoa, like, you're on a roll.
No, the syphilis didn't catch up to you yet. That's the thing. Everybody had syphilis. Everybody's noses were falling off in the street. I mean, talk about the chamber pot's probably the thing you want to get hit with, as opposed to anything else that's falling off that day. But you could, people had so many, the whole concept of a sexually transmitted infection was completely foreign. So there you were with your syphilis going mad and looking like a zombie. I think any time basically pre-antibiotics and pre-germ theory, at least in my mind, looks more like The Walking Dead than not. Yeah, and maybe that's where some of that zombie lore strikes so deeply into the zeitgeist, is that for generations people were walking around looking like zombies.
That's so true.
Who knows?
In fact, about 10 years ago, my son and I went to the. They used to have like this like really cheesy torture chamber type place you could go to. You pay your €5 and you go downstairs, and they had a hokey like little history of the place, and it was cheesy, it campy, but fun, right? And they were talking about how people would catch like this syphilis or any number of other diseases that are like easily curable today, and they would say the penis would fall off. So
just plain fall off.
Fall off.
And you're walking on the street, and it's really embarrassing when you get hit by the chamber pot and you step on somebody's dick. That's really tough.
Yes, exactly. Honey, you wouldn't believe my day.
You wouldn't believe my day. And then, of course, you only bathed once a month anyway, so you brought all that richness wherever you went.
Right, in the shitty Arno. Like, oh, there's a nice pile of floating crap right there. I think I'll bathe with it. It's like taking I saw people swimming in Varanasi in India. Now that place is it's covered in corpses and crap and corpses and crap. And the bizarroness of the place. The alleyways are narrow, and everything's cramped, and there's a gazillion people in a place that should only support about 100 people, and people are going there to die when they're dressed in an orange robe, and it's like, I'm not dead yet, but they're like, you're gonna be tomorrow, so like, we're building your funeral pyre now, right on the river.
Oh my god!
But like, there'll be like a place to grab like like an ice cream or something like that, right? And then like you see people carrying a body outside, like, it's just the irony of all that.
Well,
irony.
There's probably something very poetic about something as life affirming as eating an ice cream, and then next to a dead body. It could really make you appreciate the day.
Right.
There's something to be said for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, and but people they just, they revere the waters, and they look at them as such a holy, as such a holy thing that they will immerse their bodies in it while people are defecating in it. And so that portion of it is a little bit little bit sketchy, and they have a huge swastika.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Over the place, which you've seen probably, but they make sure to tell you like the swastika isn't the way the Nazi swastika goes. Now, YouTube, don't fuck with me because I said the word Nazi, right? It's just I'm making a historical point here. It goes the opposite way, like the little zingies go the opposite way. Yep. They say so that they can't carry water.
Yeah,
I don't know, whatever that means.
Well, that's one of the oldest symbols in all of humanity is the swastika.
Indeed.
And there's a to promote somebody else's podcast here, but there's a podcast called Behind the Bastards that's really well done. And I think in the past couple of weeks, or maybe it was before then, I don't know. They did a deep dive into the history of the swastika, and part of the reason why the Nazis adopted it is that they could claim all this heritage going back, all these years, because it was used so often, and it was a blessing, it was a good thing.
It was a good thing,
not, of course, but yeah, there's a very interesting episode about that. I was just listening to that. I listen to a lot of just random trivia history podcasts and stuff. Otherwise, it's just me talking to the boxes behind me. So,
hang on 1 second. Speaking of well done podcasts, hang on 1 second. Never fails. As soon as I start this shit, somebody's got to use their leaf blower.
It's a time of year. Leaf blowing season.
That's right. Yes, it was a symbol of peace and love.
Yeah.
And fruitfulness and all this sort of thing. And then that dude with the little mustache fucked it up for everybody.
Yeah.
So switching gears a little bit here, brother. You not only have a new foreign book deal, but coming, but you are the only person I know. You are the only individual I know that uses Wattpad as his agent. Now, I have this theory on agents. And it kind of like connects tangentially to the writer's strike, but I'll get into that later, but which is almost over.
Yeah.
I think it's almost useless to be an agent these days. I think it's a dying industry. I think there is no question in my mind, I think anyway, that copy editing is going to be done, developmental editing, kaput, and perhaps even traditional publishing as we know it, as more and more of these institutions cave in and people become, writers become their own publisher and retain their intellectual property. I mean, or it'll become like a niche business, it'll be like, it'll be a platform for publishing books by, like famous people, fame for famous people, that kind of thing. But you are taking what I consider a really, really cool platform for getting your material out there, Wattpad, in which you normally don't get paid. And you have kind of like tapped into a little bit of a gold mine there.
Yeah, it's worked out really well, and it's.
How did you do that?
Well, yeah, I think the way I did it is just by being there for a while.
Right. We're really hitting them. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not the overnight success. Well, there are no overnight success stories, but there is a chance that if you post something to KDP or Drafted Digital and you get your work out there, there's a chance that you will be this overnight success. It's a lottery ticket. But as you know, and most people, I assume, who probably will listen to this know, that is never something to bet on.
Nope.
And with Wattpad, you don't get paid. You can put entire books up there. I've got an entire series up there right now for free. But what it is, and this will save you hours, days, weeks of heartache here if you ever post on Wattpad. But what Wattpad is to the writer is a tool for building an audience. because what a lot of people who get into writing will say is, okay, I need successful books in order to have readers. But I don't have any readers to make successful books. So how do I do this? You're stuck in this. Yeah, you're stuck in this thing. So what Wattpad does is it lowers the barrier to bring readers to you, which means that it's free, but it's not free in the same way that you would put a book up for free for a promotion on KDP. This Wattpad is a home. It can be a home for readers because there's a lot of interactivity. There's a lot of, it's like a social network built around readers, but not in the way that's like, oh yes, Goodreads, let's all put a book up there and vote on it and talk about it that way. It's not really like that. It's more like Facebook, where you're commenting on people's posts, but instead of it being a post, it's a chapter in a story. So what this does is that's the front side. That's the easy part. The hard part is Wattpad looking at the analytics and the reader behavior over the course of a story, or how much readers stick with a series. They can see all of this stuff. So there's like the front side is just reading. The second side is data mining. And this is why I'm so long, you could say, on Wattpad, is they figured out what publishing is trying to do, but is really bad at.
Right. Publishing, it remains. It just remains like just stupid. I mean, like they are. It just, can they get any more stupid?
Well, right, but that's because they're not built. If these publishing companies are built around publishing. Wattpad came in as a tech company and started with the tech side, and then purpose built their tech around an end user. In publishing is not built like that. Publishing is built around products. It's not built around the end user of the product. And this allows Wattpad. In the minute I figured this out about them, was the minute that I decided I was going to stick with them. Wattpad can use that data in 1,000 different ways, in ways you don't even realize that they're using it for. They can sell into it. They can provide market research. They can greenlight production on a TV show based on what they see or what they just kind of get hunches about, but they see the whole picture of what's going on. Publishing is built around, yes, data in the form of like sales and stuff, but it's not really that granular level material. And Wattpad treats data, and I can only speak for myself. I'm not here as a Wattpad representative, but Wattpad views data in the same way that traditional publishing views intellectual property, where there's a currency, there's a back and forth that allows these companies to move in and out of markets. Traditional publishing, it could be books, TV shows, movies, whatever, that intellectual property is the lubricant for their business. Wattpad is data, and that data can turn into intellectual property, but it starts with the data stuff. So it's a little more cutting edge. And if you get in with them in a way that I've been fortunate enough to do, they will bring up certain opportunities and help you grow as a writer and help you grow your career in different ways. So right now, I have 6 stories actually, I have a lot more than 6 stories up there, but there's 6 stories in a series called Confessions of a Fake Psychic Detective that right now I'm working with Wattpad on bringing in to exercise some of the options. I'm not really supposed to talk too much about it. Exercising the options that might come with some of that. But I've made it free, even though it was behind a paywall on Wattpad before, just because I want to give that other deal that's happening more juice. I want to give them as much data as they can get about audience, about positioning, about things like that. But that's like step 99 when you're starting out on Wattpad. This is not something you do overnight. So it's I'm not here to say this is the best route for everybody, but it's worth a shot. And that's something that I've been lucky enough to do. So it's between that and some other publishing activity that I've done. This is probably the one where I get the most questions about, but just because it's so foreign. It's easy to talk about a nonfiction book deal that I've done because it's out there, but Wattpad it's like murky once you get past the surface, but it's really not. I know the people, I know the names, I know the companies. They were purchased by a large South Korean media company called Naver. It's in really good hands. There's a ton going on with it, but well, I think that answers your question. But maybe I could go on for hours about Wattpad. And in fact, I did. I wrote a book about it. So
you absolutely did. The book on Wattpad, pick it up. It very interesting read. Like all your reads are interesting. Well, you've obviously had the patience and the long-term view of this, and that's what you need, I think. And it just amazes me in this day and age that there are so many publishing opportunities and that people can choose their path, whatever's going to work for you. That's something that when I started out, probably when you were still in high school, when I got my first deal, there was one way.
Yeah.
Or, you hate to use the cliche, or like, the roadway, it was just, that was it, man. And I can't tell you the sleepless nights I had, like, is the agent going to take my manuscript? Am I going to be able to pay the rent next month? Am I going to, all this, just trying to be a full-time writer was like, it was harsh, but it's a little bit easier now. I think if you have the talent, if you're prolific, if you have the drive, I think it's definitely easier. But you also, now you have a ton of business dealings, and I see those boxes behind you. Do they happen to contain a product that you are currently selling?
Yes. Yeah. So this goes.
Can you reveal that product for our audience?
Well, one of them. Oh gosh. All right. Hang on. Well, this is not one that I invented, but I own the patent for it now because I bought the business. But
what the
this
hell
is my favorite thing. I would bring this to parties, like I go to parties. But if
that's not a sexual thing, is it?
By, and they were like, "Oh, show me one of your things," I'll bring this out, and then I'll ask them what they think.
They'll go running.
It's like it's not rated R.
I know. I thought it was, anal came to mind.
Yeah, you usually get something like that, but no.
Yeah, right. Yeah, these gutter-minded people.
This is for feeding pleco fish in aquariums. This part clips into the side of the aquarium. You screw on a vegetable or a fruit onto this thing. You clip it into the aquarium, and these little catfish that a lot of people have because they keep the tanks clean.
Right.
Eat that food, and that's done really, really well. I've got a glove product that's kind of kicked off the whole thing, called the Writer's Glove. But see, I've got the Writer's Glove. No, I've got 6 different products. I bought a business this past month, and that one was a head scratcher thing. But that I don't have time to get into all of them. But the main idea,
the Writer's Glove. Ben sends me Writer's Gloves all the time, and my sons steal them as fast as they arrive.
Well, your son probably needs to turn up the heat in his office.
yeah, but they're artists, and they use them for, they're always on the computers and all this sort of stuff, and they just love it. They love them. They go through them.
Well, and it's all part of the same thing. So I right now this is what I do. I have my writing and I have my businesses, and this is kind of where I'm at right now. I may end up working full time back in publishing again, but who knows? This is kind of a pause in between a lot of things, but basically this works the same way as writing, where you work on it at night and you nurture this thing. I've been trying to get a real side hustle business turned into something big since 2016. And it took me 7.5 years to get to the point where now I could just do this.
Yeah, and you did recently. You gave up the day job, right? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I was working in publishing. Well, if you count the newspaper years as a reporter, it would be hold on, let me think. 16 years.
Yeah.
In publishing. So I was working for a company that owns a lot of legacy media. And now I'm doing this. So
terrific. And how does your lovely wife Meredith feel about you being underfoot 24/7?
Well, I do all the cooking, I do all the laundry, and I do all the dishes. I take care of all the house stuff. So actually, this works out great. This is my advice to young men everywhere is to learn how to cook.
Yes. I did all the cooking in my last relationship.
Okay, well, learn to cook better than Vince did.
Yeah, because it always goes wrong. It always goes bad. I have something in the crock pot right now. It smells so good that my dead grandmother her mouth is watering.
Well, you always talk about the smells of the writer's life. I do kind of imagine that that's like some slow cooker off in the background. That's the smell of the writer's life.
It is. It's like, what the hell's in the freezer? I don't know what this is, but throw it in the crock pot. Throw some sauce on it and see what happens.
Exactly. But to the point, it's all the same thing. I mean, you talk on here a lot, and people rightfully probably get ideas and fantasize about, well, I'm just going to be this writer. And I'm going to do these things, and I'm going to make my own money my own way and everything. That's fine. But you might consider all of the lessons that you learn about how to sell online could be applied to other products too. And it's actually not that hard, unless you're living somewhere that has some obscene licensure situation that makes it difficult to start businesses out of your home. But for me, here in Minnesota. This is very doable, and it's awesome. I have more fun just doing this, listening to audiobooks, fulfilling orders. I sent a ton of orders out this morning. I'll do the same thing tomorrow morning, and then I'll do my stuff. I'll get on to some writing things, and then do things around the house, whatever. Yep. We'll see if this is still what I'm doing in the future. I don't know, but the point is that it's there,
and
it makes money.
It's an income stream.
My phone dings in the night. It just dings with the sale, and then I wake up and fulfill the order. It's all right here, and it's within reach. And I'm not sure how many people know just how entrepreneurial they are when they're being a writer. You are very much an entrepreneur. There's no difference between this thing and a book.
That's true.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's out there.
The retail side of it is something you had better get used to and that you had better figure out soon or you're going to sink because people will say, like, well, based on your rankings, like you can't be doing that well or whatever. It's multiple income streams that at the end of the month, you put them all together and it's like, oh, not a bad month. Or this was a bad month or whatever. But, whatever, like it all averages out in the end where I'm making about as much as your basic English teacher at a private high school. Yeah. Which is fine by me because it's just me. The kids are grown, whatever. So, enough money to travel, research, whatever, but I agree with you. I admire your tenacity because I've thought about doing some of this stuff as well, but then me, it's just easier. There's less friction involved to just buy Bitcoin.
Well,
even though I lost my shirt on it last year. Absolutely, you warned me. I lost the entire stash last year, just when everything tanked. But I'm going to buy back up again before the halving.
Well, I never told you to buy anything. I am not a certified financial.
No,
I never said to do anything.
I think you warned. Yeah, this is not financial advice. Ben does not give financial advice. This show is purely entertainment value.
Yes.
For its entertainment value only.
Yes.
Is it not?
Very much. That said.
With that said, Ben, where can people reach you, brother?
Well, I think the best way is to find me on Instagram and then go to my link tree, which has everything on it. I have gotten so much stuff out there that I don't know how to compile it all, so I just made a link tree on my Instagram. That's the best place. Quite honestly, that's the best place. You got Writer's Block coffee on there. You got the gloves. You've got whatever this is, the Pleco feeder, a bunch of other stuff, and then some other deals that hopefully I'll be able to add to that link tree soon. But
when is the Writer's Block beer coming out? That's what I want to know.
Do writers need more alcohol?
we most certainly, Senator. Yes, we most certainly do.
Well, I think the I don't know. The beverage situation is I don't know. Writer's Tears has so much. Or what is it? Writer's Tears? Writer Tears?
Writer Tears.
Yeah, has such a capture on the imagination. I would have to do something that's like, I don't know, put some kratom infused vodka out there, or some, something. I don't know. They legalize cannabis now in Minnesota, so the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, there you go. Writer's Block pot. So you can just sit around and get fucked up all day and not write a thing. That would definitely lessen the competition.
Yes, it would. Yes,
it would. All right, Ben. Listen, will you come back? There's a lot more to talk about. All right, you're a great guest, and say hi to your lovely wife.
And
we need to go. We need to go out for lobster again one of these days. When New York City calms down a little bit, hopefully we can meet up somewhere along those lines. All right, brother. Thanks for coming aboard, and I will catch you next time. And everybody else, I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow, God willing.